Croatian propaganda echoing over the front line in Mostar, the most vicious theatre of war in Bosnia Herzegovina. Since May, Bosnian Croats, aided and abetted by the Croatian government, have been laying siege to about 60,000 people in East Mostar. Almost all of them are Muslims, and they're fighting back hard. There are no safe places in East Mostar. You can be killed or maimed at any time on any street corner. Until you see it happening, it's hard to realize how quickly lives can be destroyed. One other bridge still stands, but it's even closer to the Croat positions.
Croatian front line. First. 50 meters for us.
The soldiers' morale is surprisingly high, even though they're outgunned by the Croats. They use pieces of broken mirror to look at their enemies in the way that soldiers of another generation used periscopes in the trenches. War has its routine: standing guard, hanging around, often under fire. That was a rocket-propelled grenade hitting the floor above. Another exploded in the building opposite. As usual, the Bosnian army here is short of weapons, so they make their own. They call this one Little Thunder. The explosive, they said, came from unexploded Croat bombs.
What is it like now in Mostar to be a soldier?
We are all soldiers now here, and it's ordinary life.
It sounds like a tough life.
Yes, it's very tough life. It's very tough life.
So far, except for the tannoys relaying Croat propaganda, not all that different from any other urban front line in Bosnia-Herzegovina, even down to the bodies rotting in no man's land. But it is different because the Bosnian government soldiers here are learning. They're certain they've gained the edge over their Croat enemies on the other side of the line. Everything they've suffered since the war started has made one essential fact very clear. If they're going to survive, it's down to them. Nobody is going to come to the rescue.
The people here are surrounded by enemies, and long ago they stopped dreaming about international military intervention. But they think they can win this war because they have nowhere else to go, because their suffering has made them strong, and because they believe they have a simple choice: to fight or to die.
The first rule of movement in Mostar is to keep out of sight of the Croat gunners on Hum, the hill which dominates the city. The second is don't slow down, or the Croats on Hum will pick you off if their colleagues beyond the sandbags and down the street don't get you first. The Bosnian soldiers here know all about that and much more. If they didn't, they wouldn't have survived this long. This unit's commander is Nurman Berkan, a 31-year-old who was a veterinary surgeon before the war. He used to specialize in animal reproduction. Now, like his colleagues, he's learned how to kill. This homemade bomb, they complained, was too heavy to throw. They prefer the smaller ones.
I don't like it shooting anybody, but I must shooting, because enemies another side. I live here, my father, my mother, my grandfather.
Sad je gotovo, sad.